Bronny James, he's 7 for 28 in 4 preseason games from the field. He's 2 for 13, I believe, from three-point range. He's got 8 assists and 8 turnovers. He's moving into year 2. This guy is not an NBA player.
Bronny's not an NBA player. He may become one, but LeBron's got to be honest. He's the one that put it out there. I want to play with my son. He said it 3 years ago.
So LeBron thinks, again, he's overplayed his hand here. Not only can I dupe some contender into taking my 55 mil, I'll get him to bring my bum son along with me, too. Nobody wants this arrangement, so he's stuck in Lakerland here for the year, and unfortunately, the Lakers are stuck with him.
Bronny James hasn't shown NBA-level performance, and I'm not talking about a rough stretch or growing pains. I'm talking purely basketball. Strip the famous last name off the jersey. If his name wasn't James, this conversation wouldn't even exist. From the beginning, it's been misleading. The kid missed double-digit games at USC, averaged just 5 points per game after recovering from cardiac arrest.
World, he would return to school for another year, but not in LeBron's world. He couldn't wait to fulfill his little dream of playing with his son in the NBA.
He wouldn't be mentioned as a rotation option. He wouldn't be labeled a long-term asset. He wouldn't have people constantly defending his performance. At best, he'd be seen as a raw developmental prospect. More likely, he'd be fighting just to hang on. Watch him drive into 2 defenders and a 7-footer without even looking to finish properly.
What frustrates people most about Bronny's game is this: often lackadaisical, laid back, and non-aggressive off the ball.
If you removed the famous surname, what aspect of his game clearly belongs at this level right now? And before anyone gets defensive, this isn't about hate. This is observation. This is film study. This is what the tape shows consistently. Basketball isn't about feel-good stories or legacy projects. It's a performance-driven business. You either impact winning or you don't. Here's what bothers me most: the double standard. The NBA constantly tells us it's a meritocracy. They preach that the best players earn their spots. They talk about competition and proving yourself, and when guys get cut or sent down, the reasoning is always the same: inefficient, poor fit, can't defend, doesn't play winning basketball, doesn't help the roster. But somehow, Bronny gets a pass.
With the ball, Bronny isn't very good at absorbing pressure. If he is dealing with defenders who are quicker, longer, and more physical, basically everybody at the NBA level, it's pretty easy to get him sped up off the dribble. Then add a pick.
Even when he's getting exposed on defense, lost in rotations, confused on switches, and completely ignored by opposing teams like he's not even a threat, he shoots 1 for 12, and the broadcasters act like he barely missed a miracle. They sit there nodding, talking about growth and confidence and learning opportunities. Learning opportunities at the highest level? This isn't a development camp. This is the NBA. There are guys fighting for their careers out there. Players with families counting on every paycheck, every opportunity to stay in the league. And you've got someone shooting like the basket personally wronged him. Truthfully, he's so easy to coach.
Bronny has earned this through hard work. And for us, prioritizing player development, we view Bronny as like case study 1, because his base level of feel, athleticism, point of attack defender, shooting, passing, there's a lot to like about his.
And don't think I'm forgetting the promises made, because I remember everything. They told us Bronny could be a rotation factor by year 2. A factor, not a project, not a long-term investment, but an actual contributor with meaningful minutes and real impact. I remember media day. I worked so hard this summer, late nights, early mornings, gave up Call of Duty, went vegan, dad turned the Wi-Fi off. Great story, impressive dedication. And then the first preseason game happened. Complete disaster. First real game, 1 for 12. 1 for 12.
I want to clarify one thing you just said, which is Rob and I did not give Bronny anything. Bronny has earned this.
Eventually, the excuses have to end. There's no level of organized basketball. NBA, G League, Overseas, Drew League, YMCA, Rec Center, Church League, where shooting 1 for 12 gets a pass with everyone saying, "Yeah, keep shooting, young king." That only happens when your last name is worth $1 billion. And I know exactly how fans think, so let me put it in terms you understand. You play 2K, right? If someone jumped online, went 1 for 8 from 3, forced terrible shots over triple teams, ignored wide-open teammates, and cost you the game, what would you say? You'd be screaming through the headset, "Oh, brother, this guy stinks." You'd quit. You'd dashboard. You'd block him. You'd message them to delete the game. And don't pretend you wouldn't, because I would. I'll block you mid-game. You're never on my team again. That's accountability. Somehow the NBA forgot what that means. And what's really concerning is the decision-making. He's supposed to be a guard, a point guard even, someone who reads the floor, manages possessions, makes smart plays. Instead, you've got someone drawing 3 defenders and thinking, you know what, I like these odds. Odds of what? Embarrassment? A highlight reel low light? A shot clock violation? This isn't confidence. This is delusion protected by privilege. At some point, the uncomfortable question has to be asked. Why is he actually here? Not emotionally, not historically, not symbolically, basketball-wise. What does he do at an NBA level? He can't shoot consistently, he can't reliably defend, he's undersized, he doesn't finish well at the rim, he doesn't break down defenses, he doesn't run an offense, he doesn't create advantages for teammates, he doesn't protect the basketball. There's nothing elite. Not a single skill you can point to and say that's NBA ready. So what exactly are we doing here? Are we just pretending? Are we all playing along? Because that's what this feels like. An internship disguised as a professional career. A make-your-dad-proud side quest funded by corporate silence. And it's not just the performance, it's how opponents treat him. Watch how teams guard him, or rather, don't guard him. He's never going to be more wide open than he is right now. Defenders are standing 10 feet away, hands down, already looking to see who the actual threat is. Devin Booker is practically begging him to shoot. That's the ultimate disrespect. Not trash talk, not physical defense, indifference. They don't even bother closing out. And when you still miss badly, that's when it becomes painful to watch. Listen to the broadcast when he finally hits a 3. Listen to how desperate they sound, like they've been holding their breath for 3 quarters. Like it doesn't matter if it affects the outcome, it's just pure relief. Bronny hits a 3. Congratulations, break out the confetti. It's embarrassing. You can barely watch with the volume up because the overpraise is unbearable. Olympic-level excuses. And don't put this entirely on him. The Lakers share the blame, the coaching staff shares it, the front office shares it. At some point, someone needs to protect this kid from himself. Someone needs to say, this isn't helping your development. Instead, they've given him the greenest light imaginable. He's out there shooting with complete disregard for the score, the flow, the situation, driving into double teams, challenging 7-footers like he's hunting poster dunks. 6 seconds into the shot clock, step back 3. Building bricks. You can hear the clank through the broadcast, louder than the arena music. And the bench reactions tell the whole story. Faces frozen, forced applause, that look that says, please don't make this worse. And then there's the nepotism elephant in the room, because you can't address this honestly without mentioning LeBron. At what point does the dream become a nightmare? Playing with your son is incredible, historic even, but at what cost? You're frustrating the fans, you're hurting the team, and worst of all, you're putting your son in a position he's not ready for and may never be ready for. This isn't development, this is overexposure, brutal, unnecessary overexposure. Every miss gets magnified, every bad decision gets clipped, every joke writes itself, and the internet never forgets. He's better at trending online right now than he is at basketball. That's just the reality. Meanwhile, there are players who would give everything for this chance. Players grinding overseas, players dominating the G League, players at Drew League, Rucker Park, open runs where the talent is legitimate and the hunger is real. Guys whose families need this income, who would never shoot 1 for 12 and keep firing because they know one bad performance can end everything. Bronny doesn't need this opportunity. This is a hobby, a legacy side mission, a trust fund internship. And that's why it feels different, because the NBA will dress it up as opportunity and patience and development, but the math doesn't change. He's occupying a roster spot, he's taking minutes, he's getting reps that someone who actually earned it should have. And don't bring up contracts and salaries either. The fact that Bronny is scheduled to make more money than Russell Westbrook this year should embarrass the league. Westbrook, for all his flaws, is a professional, a grinder, someone who shows up early, stays late, gives maximum effort every night, even when it's messy. Is he perfect? No. Does he make questionable decisions? Yes, but he competes, he contributes, he belongs on a training camp roster somewhere. But somehow there's no room for him, no room for Melo, no room for John Wall, yet there's room for someone who can't reach double figures unless the opponent allows it. And that's the part nobody wants to admit out loud. Some teams will go easy on him. Corporate courtesy, legacy respect. They don't want the controversy. They don't want the backlash. So yeah, he might luck into a double-digit scoring game occasionally, and when he does, the supporters will celebrate like he just dropped 50 in the finals. Clip it, post it, victory lap, ignore all context. But reality always catches up. You can't hide forever in this league. Film doesn't lie, possessions don't lie, and right now there isn't a single basketball argument for Bronny James being an NBA rotation player. So ask yourself these questions. Is he an NBA player or is he an idea? Is this about basketball or is it about branding? Is he here because he earned it or because the league decided the storyline was worth the trade-off? And be honest, when LeBron retires, do you really think this continues, or does everything stop the moment the protection disappears? Because history tells us everything we need to know. That's why the discussion matters. That's why this conversation needs to happen. Not because it's entertaining, though it is, but because it exposes how distorted the system becomes when money and legacy take priority. Bronny James might be a great kid. He might have an incredible attitude. He might be coachable. All of that is wonderful. None of it makes you an NBA player. And until the league stops confusing sentiment with skill, we're going to keep watching this circus and pretending it's legitimate basketball. And that's the real problem. But at the end of the day, this isn't about hate, jealousy, or attacking a young player. It's about honesty. The NBA is supposed to be the highest level of basketball on the planet, where roster spots are earned, not inherited, and results matter more than last names. And right now, Bronny James is being protected by narrative instead of performance. And that doesn't just damage the league, it damages the integrity of the game and disrespects the players who truly deserve an opportunity. If we can't call out the obvious, then the entire system is compromised. So, if you're tired of the double standards, tired of the excessive praise, and tired of being told not to trust what you're seeing, make sure you share this video, hit that subscribe button, and let the comment section know exactly how you feel, because this conversation doesn't move forward unless we push it there.